Greetings, citizens of the internet. You can call me Nitro Indigo, and today I'll be talking about video game box art. A video game's box art is like a movie poster, grabbing your attention and giving you a general impression of the game's mood. A single game can have very different box arts across regions, and sometimes those differences are rather interesting. In particular, I'd like to talk about a phenomenon called American Kirby is Hardcore, where video games are marketed as tough in America and cute everywhere else. It's worth noting that American Kirby didn't start being hardcore until Nightmare in Dreamland, the first game to be released after the anime. One instance of American Kirby being less hardcore than Japanese Kirby is the box art of Triple Deluxe, which removes a shotso. Let's start with a game you're definitely all familiar with, Super Mario Bros. 1. I'm sorry, but I really don't like the American box art. It's not particularly colourful or eye-catching, and not to mention, Mario is falling into lava on this cover. The Japanese cover is much better, showing all the bright and colourful wackiness we associate with Mario. The character designs look a bit weird, but they hadn't been finalised back then. Also note how the mushroom has a face, something that wouldn't appear in sprites until the lost levels. While we're on the subject of more interesting Japanese box arts, compare the boring plain gold Western Link's Awakening box art to the lively Japanese one. Guess which one I like better? Nintendo of America really like gold, to the point where nowadays it's the only difference between the American box arts of Zelda games and all of the other versions. I personally think that the American box art of the Wind Waker HD looks really tacky. I have a soft spot for Spirit Tracks, or as I like to call it, Train Zelda. The American box art shows Link doing his best Edward Elric impression, with the greyed out rail map in the background, while everywhere else's box art shows Link and Zelda on a train in a green field. I much prefer the latter, as it fits the happy-go-lucky colourfulness of the game so well, though Spirit Tracks has some dark undertones if you think too hard about it. I also like how you can see the Ice and Fire land realms in the background. Nice touch. Let's move away from the realm of Nintendo with Klonoa, Daughter Phantomal, my favourite video game at the time of making this video, which incidentally turns 20 this year. I actually like all three of the PlayStation box arts you see here, but if I had to pick a favourite, I'd go with the Japanese version. While both the North American and European box arts make it look like just another cute Japanese game, albeit in different ways, the Japanese box art, with the awkward translation of the opening monologue and the pale colours, gives off a sense that there's something mysterious about this game. I played the Wii version, which has the same box art everywhere, saturation notwithstanding. So are there any American box arts I actually prefer? Actually, yes! You know, back in the books video, when I said that I didn't really like covers of anything that showed characters' face and nothing else? Because one exception to that opinion is the American box art of the worst game ever 2K2, with Spyro's smug smirk and Ripto reflected in his eye. It reminds me of the covers of The Last Dragon Chronicles. Please don't hate me for comparing the worst game ever 2K2 to The Last Dragon Chronicles. The European box art, meanwhile, looks like Spyro figured out what game he was in. On a more positive note, I also prefer the American box art of Phantom Hourglass than the European and Japanese one, but I still like them both. The American cover gives off a vibe of three unlikely heroes joining together to fight the forces of evil by sailing the seas, and I really like the old map aesthetic. It's also interesting to note how, unlike most Zelda games, Australia's box art is the same as America's rather than Europe's. Moving on from comparisons, basically every Pokemon game since the second generation has had the same box art everywhere, which is pretty boring if you ask me. Most of them were drawn by Ken Sugimori, but one that wasn't is Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity's box art. How come Espeon and Umbreon aren't on there, even though they appear much earlier than Keldeo does? Why does Dunsparce look like he's flying? I also noticed upon scripting this video that the background looks like ice, representing the Glacier Palace. While there's nothing wrong with the art, and the renders look very smooth while still being close to the in-game graphics, I'm not really the biggest fan of it. It looks way too happy-go-lucky, and I think that's why Gates has a reputation in the Mystery Dungeon fandom for being childish, even though it isn't. It tried to be deceptively cute, but the audience had grown used to the dark twists by then. How about you? Do you disagree with anything I've said? What box arts do you find interesting?